Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Note Closer Show. Scott Carson here. Glad to have you this morning here in episode 58. We are rocking along, everybody. So it is Thursday. No, I'm sorry. Today, it is Thursday today. Yeah. Lots of great things going on. Today's topic is something that we focused on a little bit yesterday during the note draft. Had a lot of people join us. We had 250 people sign up for the webinar yesterday. 150 people joined and watched me break down a bunch of assets. We found some deals on a few of them. On the big chunk of the tape, though, we realized we probably need to dive a little bit more into the taxes, which will happen from time to time. So we're using that as a learning process, not only for us to drive into and the staff to go back and check some things a little bit closer, but also it turns out to be a great topic to talk about this morning. Sometimes the best innovation are just Q&A that you deal with yourself. So, huh? It's cringe. What do you mean it's cringeworthy? The taxes. It is okay. It happens. So what happens when you get a tape, a lot of times, of assets from people, is you want to know who the borrower's information is. And a little backstory on this big tape is the guys that bought it in 2010, 11, 12, whenever they bought it, didn't do anything for a couple years. Literally, like 2 years, they sat on their thumbs doing the REO business instead of focus on the note business. So what happened? Well, taxes increased, and some got wiped out in tax sale, tax foreclosure. A large chunk have been wiped out in taxes or foreclosure because we narrowed the list down originally. We continue to narrow it down, and the list will get even smaller on us. We basically, about through asset number 40 that I was looking at, we just decided to do a reset and go from there. Now, don't get me wrong, we did find a couple cool assets I like. Okay? Some really cool assets. But what happens, though, when you get a spreadsheet from a hedge fund, if it doesn't have borrower's information on it, you've got to dive in faster and deeper to do your due diligence. So that's what today's topic is all about, tax sales and tax foreclosures. Okay? Now, there are two different types of tax sales that happen. You have a tax deed or tax certificate, or tax foreclosure or tax certificate sold off. Now, what's the difference? Well, in a tax certificate state, each year that taxes don't get paid on the property, the county issues a tax certificate that tax investors can purchase, and they hold on to that taxes, and to get repaid back, they gotta get paid back what they paid for the taxes plus an interest rate. So usually somewhere between 12 and 18%. Now, after a 3-year period, if they still hold that tax certificate, they have the right to initiate what's called a tax foreclosure. All right? Which, once it goes to tax foreclosure, it's wiped out. Okay? Not wiped out. They get paid back. They force the foreclosure. They sell it off at a foreclosure auction. It gets bid up. It wipes out your first lien position. All right? Now, in some states, there are redemption periods. Alabama, Minnesota have a longer redemption period, about a year. Other states have no redemption period once it goes to tax sale, such as Florida. All right? So that's one thing you have to look at. Now, what do you look for when you're checking the county records? Well, the best website to go to is Netra Online. If you want to go type that in there, Greg, so people know in the quotes what website to look at. Because that will pull up the county assessors and county treasury in every county in America. Now, most counties are online and working in the 21st century. Some states, some counties want you to pay to log in, which is kind of a waste of time unless you're going to be buying in those areas quite often. Now, what do you look for? Well, our first thing that we like to look at to check taxes is to go to the assessor's website. Okay, that will show us usually a balance owed, the current owner of the property based on the tax rolls. Now, what you have to do to determine if it's gone to tax sale in the last couple of years is you have to dig deeper. Most counties will let you pull up previous years. All right, usually going back 6 or 7 years, they'll let you pull up. And also, you want to check for previous sales of the property because it'll also show sales history. Okay. Now, if you see a sales history, say the asset, your mortgage says 2006 is when the mortgage was created, and you see a sale happen in 2009, you need to review that because oftentimes tax sales will go and happen, and it's going to wipe you out. It's not worth bidding on the asset at the point because there's not really anything worth bidding on except an unsecured asset, which is really only worth like pennies on the dollars. It's basically an unsecured debt at that point. You still have the right to sue on the mortgage if you want to do that, but you're going to be chasing basically a lot of ghosts. All right. Now, what happens is if you see, going back to I'll give you an example. We were seeing in 2012, Mary Smith was the bar. Well, in 2013, there was a sale for like $2,000. And it was either to the county or to an entity or another individual. And then the next year, it showed a different borrower and a sale for, say, $24,000 or $40,000. Well, that's a big red flag when I see that. All right, because we were looking at a mortgage grade 2006. It means it went to tax sale 2009, back to the city, and then the city sold it to somebody else in 2010. So that would be something not even worth wasting your time on. Especially if it says like $2,000 is what the sale price was. You can bet that is what it got sold at the tax sale. Now, in some situations where you see a sale like $24,000 or $30,000 or $40,000, that could be a very nice deal because there may be a tax overage in that situation. Now, what do I mean by tax overage? Let's say the county is owed $5,000 in back taxes. Well, it takes a tax sale. Well, you have a lot of auction bidders, REO buyers, tax investors that are going to the tax sale because they want the property. So if $5,000 is owed, and it gets bid up to $25,000, $30,000. Great, the county got their $5,000, and they hold that other $25,000 plus in escrow, waiting for the first lien holder to make a claim on that overage. Because if you think about it, in order of the debt, you have the taxes come first lien holders, and then second mortgage holders if they're seconds, and then any other collectors, right? Well, if the mortgage is $50,000 and there's an overage of $20,000 sitting up there, if we bought that mortgage, even after tax sale, we would still have the right to go claim on that overage and take that money back. Okay, so that's why it's worth checking out taxes in some situations to see if there is an overage. And sometimes you've got to call the county to find out, hey, was there a tax sale? Can you tell me when the property actually changed hands? But if you use Netra Online for the most part and use that in your official public records, you'll see a green button at the top, public records. It'll pull up a nice nationwide map, and you can click on the states and then pick the counties and then go from there. Taxes are a very important thing to check. It's one of the easiest things you can do that doesn't cost you any money usually to check as far as due diligence. Taxes are always the easiest thing to check and should be made with a phone call prior to submitting your bids. All right? No, it's not sexy. Sometimes it's a pain in the ass to drill down, right, guys?
A little bit.
A little bit. Not the most exciting thing to do, but it's one of the most important things when it comes to doing due diligence on deals, especially on tapes that have been sitting around for a while or assets that have been sitting around for a few years.
Highlight, you get to talk to Pearl at Cook County.
Highlight, you can call Pearl at Cook County and talk to her if you're buying in Illinois.
She is splendid.
She's an Illinois sourpuss. All right. What other questions, anybody got questions, comments on that? Now, some counties will sell tax stuff every month. Some will do it once a year. Some do it once a quarter. It just varies on the county and the state. Some will have redemption periods of 6 months. Some will have of 12 months. I don't let the redemption period stop me from bidding a lot of times, because oftentimes you can go to the borrower who's losing their house and have them sign up the redemption rights for $500 to $1,000. It's a simple one-page form. Get them notarized, sign it over. It releases them of the redemption rights, and then you can move on by selling the asset off. Okay. Now, yes, taxes are not sexy. They're not fun. But gosh darn it, we got to check them. And you have to check them in your initial due diligence. There is no excuse to make a bid and come back, well, they only showed $2,000 back taxes owed. It's now $4,000. Well, you should have picked up the phone call. Now, the only exception would be if you submitted a bid within 24 hours you haven't called yet. But most of you guys will have more than 24 hours to submit bids in on your assets. All right? It is Thursday here, guys. It is actually freezing tundra in my office.
Yes.
It's hot in the other offices, but it is freezing cold in here. Even I'm getting cold. I'm about to throw my jacket on here. But we're rock and rolling that. Clearing that up. We have a fast track that starts tomorrow. We're excited.
Yeah.
We got 8 investors coming in, spending Friday, Saturday, Sunday with me here in Austin. And so we're really excited about what they're going to learn and what they're going to go through, and really help them take their business to a whole other level. We do have some bids coming in from some people that did do some of their due diligence on that stuff. Okay, which is good. So you can highlight those and not worry about pulling the taxes on those, because the staff is actually going to dive back into the taxes tax roll. What else is going on? Oh, we have Note Camp in 56 days. Yes, Note Camp 3.0. With keynote speakers Patrick Precourt and Jason, my buddies Jason Cisneros. Why is it that I usually pick bald guys to be the keynote speakers? Greg was bald last year.
Intense, their hair just
Falls right on out, right? That's funny.
They blow your mind.
They blow your mind.
Yeah, they had to blow their own mind.
Exactly. We got a couple other people going to be on there for the first time. Duncan Weirman out of Boston. Boston's going to be there speaking. Michael Keller.
Has he said yes to yes?
He hasn't said no yet.
No.
He'll be stupid not to. Lou Brown's actually going to be speaking on a little bit about some of his real estate stuff. Really excited about some of the cool things we've got going on. We're going to actually be able to use a new technology where you guys will be able to, I basically have a front row seat with everybody like you normally would anyway, but you can type in questions, but you will also have availability during the question and answer sessions to ask them directly live. What? Crazy!
So make sure you have a shirt on and you're properly dressed, at least from the waist up, if you're talking.
Yeah, exactly. In a place that's plenty of light so that people can see if you want to. I mean, you can mute your webcam and ask questions still that way, but we're really excited about that. We will have 2 sessions going simultaneously. We solved that already. Again, which is great. So if you don't like one speaker, you can hop on over to the next one and catch them live. Replays will also be available. We're pretty excited about that again as well. And we're over the 115, almost 120 person mark right now. So we expect 500 plus people to be on Note Camp. Once again, tickets are $297 for a front row seat for you guys. That includes the replays. It also includes some of the great things that we did last time as well here, like the interactive PDF.
Oh yes, that's definitely coming back.
And Nicole's working on that. We will also do, if you're a signed up member for it, you'll get the database of everybody's names and email. Also, we'll do another business survey, and if you fill out the business survey, you'll get the answers to that. So, like what we did intense last time was have everybody take a survey. What's your LinkedIn profile? What markets are you focused on? Do you have an IRA? Who's it with? What's your primary goal? You're buying first, seconds, owner finance, money lending, vendor, those kind of questions. So that was a big hit, and it really helped launch a lot of people's joint venture and marketing business because we gave them a lot of great in-depth information to help really optimize and encourage the networking not only during but also before and a little bit afterwards. Of course, we throw everybody into Basecamp, so people are already networking, asking questions on Basecamp right now. And so we're really excited about that, everybody. Yes, ma'am.
About Basecamp, my one word of advice for everyone, if you're already in it, update your information. Make sure that you have the right email address that you signed up with. Make sure you have your first and last name in there, because we'll get phone calls saying I can't access or whatever. We have the wrong email for them, or they're like, my name's this, and it's like, I don't see you because they didn't put their name, they just have an email.
Yeah, so when you log into Basecamp,
update their
exactly.
profile.
Make sure when you log into Basecamp, no matter whether it's a virtual No Buying for Dummies or a Note Camp, is that you do use your full name on the profile. You use a current photo as well of you, which is helpful. And then make sure the email that you register for the event with is the one that you want to use Basecamp with. A lot of people will use a variety of emails, and they wonder why they can't access the emails as well, because you register for one email with us, and you have a Basecamp, you have multiple emails, so that's why you can't reply to it and stuff.
And we can filter all that if we have their first and last name in there to be able to find them.
We can fix that exactly if we got their full
So
profile.
that's just FYI.
Jen's a big advocate doing that because she's the one that usually ends up cleaning up Basecamp before that. So let's save Jen some extra heartache over the next couple weeks as well.
We do have a question about Note Camp. Lofton, they asked, do you recommend someone that's completely new to Note Camp to take this class? I'm currently in the business myself, but would like to leverage some of my income into real estate.
Yeah, actually Note Camp is a large conference house, so it's a really great way to get a broad depth of information. We'll have different speakers on different topics: raising capital, marketing, due diligence, raising private capital, PPM. We'll talk about first, seconds, owner financing, some partials. You'll hire some successful investors who closed a couple hundred deals. We're going to be highlighting a couple new investors who've closed 20, 30 deals in their first year too.
Everything you need to know is right at Note Camp.
Yes, everything is you need to know. It's your verifiable Swiss Army knife when it comes to that business.
Get your
One-
flashlight and
oh,
get ready.
yeah.
And get your s'mores.
Yeah, for $297, it's the biggest bang for the buck. It's
It's
live.
amazing.
Yeah.
You get replays, so you can watch everything over and over and over and over again.
Yep, you don't have to be there live if you got something going on. You don't have to jump on a plane, take a train, or rent an automobile. You can actually be live in person from your home or office, or the beach, or driving across Indiana, or internationally, like we have people join us.
Don't be driving and watching.
Yeah, let's not be driving and watching. But yeah, Note Camp's a great way to get your feet wet when it comes to the note business. A lot of great information, a lot of great people.
There's a lot of seasoned investors in there, so if you ever have questions, they're definitely there to help.
The ultimate aspect of through Basecamp, you can ask one question and you will have an array of answers to cover every.
You'll get
That's correct.
You'll get a lot of answers.
That's the
huge support system.
That's the beauty of Basecamp, is the message board aspect of it. Being able to ask a question, and having 20, 30, 100 people respond and comment, connect with everybody. Networking without having to jump on a plane, ride a train, or rent an automobile.
Doing your PJs.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that, doing their PJs.
Well, I mean, like
some people
LinkedIn
did.
and stuff like that. Like
Some guy sent me a picture of holding his computer over my head on there, and he was butt naked behind it.
no, thank you.
Yeah, I was like, I don't need to know that.
Yeah.
I guess we're popular in the nudity colony.
Okay. I mean, you do you, boo boo,
They're
but
just
like,
Yeah.
free spirits.
Free spirits everywhere.
She asked again, is there a minimum amount of money I would need to start? And I'm assuming she means investing.
If you're talking about investing in notes, we see a lot of deals that happen for $20,000, $25,000 that people get started with 1-2 deals that way and get rock and roll. And a lot of people, they'll use other people's money. They use self-directed IRA funds and other things and joint venture together and make it a win-win across the board.
She says, I've been truly, okay, her name is Valerie. I've been watching you for a while now, and I'm truly interested.
Val, is this Val? Is this
Valerie?
Val's being Valerie? No. Thank you, Valerie. Appreciate it. We throw a lot of content out there for people. Our goal is to provide content that is straight, no
fluff.
no fluff, no smoke up your rear, just pure content on the real nuts and bolts of the note business.
That's it.
That's it. That's all the comments. Feel free to drop me an email, Valerie, at scott@weclosenotes.com. If you're watching this for the first time, we want to say thank you for that. You can always go to, pull out your smartphone. If you'd like to get 80 hours of videos delivered to your inbox or your phone, just text.
Notes.
Is your phone here real fast?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just go to your text messages and type in the phone number 72000 72000, and all you do is one word, notes. Type that in a message and hit send. Yes, carrier and text message charges may apply to you. There's no cost for this service, so if you have anything popped up, you don't have to prove a cost. Don't worry about it. It's just your text messaging. It may be a cost if you have that for that, but not that. But you'll get a link. Make sure to put your first name and email address in there, and we'll deliver a link to you with over 80 hours of video training and a PowerPoint that goes kind of through the 3 F's of note investing for you.
If she does not receive it,
Oh, yeah. If she doesn't receive it,
email us and
Yep.
we will send her the links.
Yeah, if you don't get it, email us. We'll send you the links. Actually, they will send you the links, so
Here,
I'll just forward the
I'll
email.
put my email in there.
No, we want her to text. Don't put your email in unless they can.
Yep.
Yeah.
Text her.
So, if there's not any other questions, comments there, Greg? No? So, make sure, once again, as a little review, make sure you go back several years on your assets you're reviewing the taxes on. Not a year, not 2 years, but I'm talking back 4 or 5 years, because you'll often find sometimes the name changes, and if the name changes, it's usually a red flag. Now, a couple things that aren't red flags. One, if the name of the entity, the name of the borrower, name of the property owner is the same as who you're buying it from, that means there's probably a deed in lieu or cash for keys done. If it's now in the estate of Mary Box or whoever the borrower is, that probably means your borrower is deceased, and that's okay. The family's taking on the thing. That's not a bad thing. If it is a strange LLC, different LLC, or a name than who you have, do a search by that new person's name. We found on several assets yesterday that one person owned like 60 properties in the area. She's a big tax buyer. That's usually the sign that, yeah, it's going to tax sale, you're not going to get it back. Okay? So once again, thank you guys for joining us. If you found this valuable, feel free to share it to your social media websites. I give a big shout out, Nicole. You do a great job putting this together and throwing it on YouTube and Vimeo afterwards, and it shows up on LinkedIn. I've seen some videos. Some of our links have hit 50 to 100 views on LinkedIn, which is kind of nice. Which is just extra traffic that we don't usually count on. But really appreciate any questions, comments you guys have.
Oh, we do have another one.
Oh, it's okay. What's
We just came in and says Lisa Woloshin.
Yep.
Says, who do you use for tri-merge credit?
I don't pull credit. So that's a real quick answer there, Lisa. If we don't usually pull credit. Credit's often pulled on second lien holders, second lien investors, and we don't invest in seconds. So I'm not usually pulling credit at all. If I do, it's usually I think my servicing companies will do it occasionally, but I don't usually pull credit. I haven't pulled credit in a long time. I used to use a company called Sarma when I was a mortgage banker, San Antonio Real Estate Merchants Association, and it was like $8, $8 to $15 to pull credit, but that was a few years back. But Sarma was a pretty good tri-merge pull when we used that back in the day, but I haven't pulled credit in a long time. When you pull credit, you become a direct merchant. Oftentimes they need to send somebody out to make sure you've got secure location, stuff like that, Lisa. So.
Oh, another one from Valerie. She says, I've gone to property auctions in Harris County and I was completely lost. What are your thoughts on struck off property?
Okay, so I don't go to, if you're going to the Harris County foreclosure auction, which happens in Texas the first Tuesday of every month, unless it's a national holiday, for the most part. That's all of Texas is the first Tuesday, every county. I don't go there because well, Texas, you got to have all cash right then and there. There's no putting a deposit down, running, and getting the rest. You've got to have cashier's checks right there with you to pay for the asset to do it. So I don't think it's worth going to buy. Now, what I do think it's worth going to, everybody should go to at least once or twice, is you'll see how chaotic it is. You'll see the amount of people trying to buy assets that aren't available. And either they get pulled because A, the borrowers do something, either they file bankruptcy before, they get a TR, temporary restraining order, or they come to some sort of agreement with the trustee who's handling the foreclosure auction, or they're doing something with the bank to delay the auction. So don't usually waste my time with those. Now, on a couple situations, I do pull the foreclosure lists to see which banks are foreclosing in a county, and the smaller banks become banks that I target to potentially buy their distressed debt or get on their distressed debt list and speak to their special asset manager or secondary marketing manager to find out if they've got stuff in other areas. Now, if it's a small bank, like one branch, I don't waste my time. But if it's a regional bank and they got 8 or 10 they're doing, depending on the size of the county, those are often great resources to find smaller bank with deals. So, I don't recommend, if you're a brand new investor, going to the foreclosure auction is not a good thing to do. You can get your ass handed to you pretty fast. Let me give you an example. I went to the Missouri auction in Independence, Missouri a few years back with an investor. And we just went to check it out. He'd never been before, so we go there. And somebody was kind enough to give us a list there of what was going. So we were looking at it. And I see this one asset where the opening bid was $29,000 and the appraised value of the property was $150,000. Okay. So the crier comes up and says, we'll start the bid on this one at $29,100. And this guy in a suit is sitting in the back. He goes, $29,100. And the crier goes, going once, going twice, sold. And I hear this guy walk past me. He's like, oh my gosh, I've read the books. I listened to the tapes. It can't be this easy. Well, if he'd have done his research, he would have realized he bought the second mortgage. It was a second lien holder foreclosed, and there was a first on that property for $130,000. He bought basically trying to foreclose on a property with no equity, subject to the first. This is why it's important to know exactly what you're bidding on, know exactly if it is the first lien holder or the second lien holder foreclosing on the asset to make sure. Now, we don't see a lot of second lien holders foreclosing now because there's just not as many of them out there, but it still happens from time to time. So you go to the foreclosure auction, you better be savvy and know what you're dealing with. Otherwise, I think the foreclosure auction is the only good place to go meet private investors. That's a great place to go to meet people that have money and are looking for deals, and often a great way. Greg's dad is actually does some of that stuff a little bit more. He's using it more so to build his note investors now than buying assets.
It's a note camp, but they can learn on this.
Yeah, exactly. Become a Note Camp 3.0, April 20th through the 23rd, you'll learn about some of the great strategy that we use to find assets without having to fight the crowds, deal with thousands of postcards, and avoid a lot of the direct marketing. What other questions, comments anybody else have?
We're good.
Hopefully I answered Lisa's question.
No, she did. Yeah, you got
Okay,
it.
good.
Yeah.
Good stuff then. Oh, so we pop up there?
Oh yeah, she says she's coming. I put the link to Note Camp in there, and
Okay.
Melody said she's on her way.
All right, guys and gals. Well, then we will wrap it up for the day. If there's no other questions or comments, hold your finger there. Don't get so fast draw McGraw there.
Trigger happy.
Trigger happy. We'll probably not do a Note Camp tomorrow because we do the fast track. We'll be meeting at a different hotel just down the street here from the office. But extremely excited, guys. I wanted to bring this up. We have our next Note Mastermind event. Did they just die? No,
You're
okay.
still going.
Yours is good.
It's just me.
All
Keep
right.
going.
It's just you, Nicole. It's not me. It's just you. Our next Mastermind event is April 7th, 8th, and 9th. It's here in Austin, Texas. And we have one fast track prior to that. We have that the 24th, 25th, and 26th of March. All right. We've got just a couple spots available for that fast track. The Mastermind's included with the fast track. So if you sign up for the fast track, you can come to 3 other Mastermind events throughout the year. Now, our April event will probably have 60 people here in Austin. We've got some amazing things lined up. We've got Joel Markovitz and Daniel Singer from the Law Office of Daniel Singer coming out and do a big discussion on bankruptcy assets and deals and how to deal with those. We're going to do something called Social Media Bingo.
Ooh, that's exciting.
It is kind of exciting. It's very exciting. Since it's here in April, we'll do our annual April awards for our investors that are showing up on the different levels they've got to, and different level of note closer status. We are always excited to see that progress. Especially we got some really cool rookie of the years running right now. People closing deals their first 12 months out there. Just got some other really great stuff. We do a lot on deal breakdown. We have a category where I pull a couple different assets in and give them to the groups to work down and break down what they would bid and give them the status of the due diligence and what's going on, and it's interesting them bid and how they come back and what the final awarded bid is and how that works out. Some people actually don't even get to bid on stuff because they're late. It's literally real world stuff, but it gives people a great chance to network with other experienced investors. During the 3 days, we make everybody switch tables up as well. You don't get to sit in the same spot usually every day. You're going to be around new people. We have some fun things planned up. We got a Texas-style barbecue buffet one night, which will be really good. And then we've also got a fun night, Friday night planned for everybody as well. We might do something optional Saturday for those that might want to do something. But we're going to be downtown 6th Street. There's always plenty of shenanigans and fun things to do in 6th Street. Shenanigans to get in trouble, exactly.
That is accurate.
Whether you want to take a ride with the pedicab, which is clothing sometimes is optional with some of the drivers. Catch a lot of live music. The horse carriages that start Driscoll, exactly. Did I say live music? Yes, plenty of live music and fun, and a lot of great restaurants and stuff like that.
All
But
of the food.
a lot of people love coming to Austin because it's just a laid-back, fun place to do a lot of stuff. And of course, we always have our quarterly, or every time we do a mastermind, our draft status, the picking the numbers. Haven't decided if we're going to do that again this time. We may or may not, depends on the situation. It's kind of a bit of a headache sometimes trying to herd cats when you especially having 80 people trying to bid on stuff. But I have a few surprises up my sleeves for this mastermind. So
Jay Rott, I'm so sorry. Jay Rott, he's talking about 6th Street. He says standing on the corner is good enough.
yeah, Jay and Ed Gray have had plenty of interesting experiences here when they came here last year for the mastermind in April. Can't let those guys go anywhere. They just get in too much trouble. So anyway, guys, we will wrap it up for the day here on episode 58. I want to thank you guys for joining us. Once again, go out and double check your taxes. Make sure and look back a few years. And we'll see you guys all, hopefully, either the next Fast Track or come Monday on episode 59.
Woo!
See you guys later.